What's good? You rocking with your boy TheCzarr, all rights reserved. This comes pop-up of a commenter video. Shout out to Monica. Here's my thing. I read what she sent me. I also read some other things. And tomorrow, hopefully I'm able to put out a more detailed production, as tonight I attempt to finalize some business moves I'm trying to make on the back end. And it raises a sense of confusion. Now, it seems like Victor's association with someone who was not named and not updated led to him being involved. And it seems that they not only knew him on a personal basis, but enough to know where he was going and what he was doing, that he would report this to them. This is up in the air because in it, reading it carefully, one of the terms used was, "Are you going to help me?" Now, I don't know what they were pointing out to. I don't know who it was that was mentioning about getting help. But one of the people who were speaking with them, they did not negate to helping. They said, hold on. What were they holding on for? What was the whole understanding that needed to be granted? This is confusing me, and a lot of people, hit me up behind the scenes like, well, what's going on? I don't know what's going on, and they're a little, trying to figure out, and don't worry, I'm just trying to understand the information given to me, because I have a lot of contradictions, and when some contradictory information happens, it's not that I fall off. I morally take my time to truly understand, because again, everybody deserves their fair understanding and their mind open to what's happening, because this being delivered the way it was does not produce a name, neither does it justify that one of the suspects arrested were even speaking to this person. It seems like someone was looking for some type of assistance, and what I can guarantee is that it involves Victor and someone else. Now that's my thing. It involves someone else who has not been implicated. Now, something that has been made aware, there were a large number of witnesses actually at the scene. Victor has replied back to one of CommenterNation when they asked him who he was being interviewed by. The person he claimed to be being interviewed by, he said was a fan. Now, that's kind of confusing to me, because you're a fan too. So what made you so special to be interviewed at that time versus any other witness being interviewed? That's another thing that I don't understand. Did you ask to be interviewed? Did you obligate yourself? Did they ask who wants to do an interview and you raise your hand? I'm not getting how you were placed in that position to stand as a witness to something when you were with everybody else, or you were just viewing it just as everybody else was. That's my issue. That's my problem. How did you end up in that situation? Did you volunteer to be witnessing? And that's part of the complication. And who was texting back and forth letting them know that, listen, X wasn't going there to get a jet ski fix. Allegedly, Victor was. How'd you take your jet ski there? Who took you there? Who were you with? Were you with a parent or a friend? And, what type of occupation places you in a position to loosely just go and get a jet ski fixed versus building a career or doing something else useful? And X was there right now. So you seen Tentacion and you let someone else know, hey, Tentacion's there, or did you go there because Tentacion was going to go there? That's what I'm trying to understand. Where was your knowledge coming from, Victor? Because what I'm reading, it seems like this strongly implicates you to be more of the situation than anybody else. And let alone, for all we know, this could be a mastermind discussion. So I'm not getting how Victor got off, but they hunted down 4 random men. Where did this information come from? Is this something that you may have said on the backside, Victor? How'd you know? That's why I'm quiet, to understand. So not even do I unfairly implicate Victor if he didn't know anything about it, but this individual who's in these messages is using your name a lot. Not only are they using your name a lot, it's like directly implicating you to being contacted to be a part of something larger. So why are these four men being held and Victor's picture isn't up there with them? That's what I'm trying to understand. So I can tell you from my experience and what's being sent to me evidence-wise, it looks like these four men might walk. Because when I see how things are unfolding and the fact you have individuals that aren't African American or linked to alleged gangs and stuff, the way they're being pictured to be criminals, you have a boy from the valley linking up to help on the backside do something. Matter of fact, it's starting to look like a communication between the ultimate setup was made via these social media clout chasers. That's the only way you can put it. They were clout chasing through social media with the evidence and the story, and they helped create it. Now, I have to say, I don't really think I believe any of your story. So I believe the story you told, mentioning an uncle, mentioning family and different things, it might have all been falsified. That's terrible. That's a terrible thing. For you to even tell the story you told, and for me to see the messages I see now, you're a terrible person. I want to put that up front. If these men are persecuted, these young black men are held out and hung to dry, and you get to slide away with this, I think they need to look for you at the end, to be real, just to be objective, because their pictures are up, okay? So no matter what they do after they make it past this struggle, their pictures were out there. But what I'm looking at shows you had stronger implications than ever produced, ever released, ever even acknowledged. And tomorrow we're going to get into the details piece by piece on exactly what the information is displaying to me. And I'm going to break it down because I want to be very thorough. That is why I got kind of silent, made my few videos, even brought in some other topics that I have waiting. But I'm going to still drop in my other topics, but we're going to sprinkle still parts of understanding this story amongst it. Because as I'm analyzing the data, as I'm analyzing different parts, I want to produce it in a way that my audience understands that this picture is bigger than we thought, but it's bigger to the point that it's starting to justify my previous premonition on this news anchor and this witness, okay? And here's my thing. It's starting to make it seem like there may have not been a passenger, because in these messages it said it's talking a lot about Tentacion in the shop, but it's not mentioning anything about a second person in there with him. That's my thing. And this is homegrown, like natural conversation and text messages that they would have looked at as investigators if they confiscated a phone. Did they not confiscate Victor's phone? Even when he was part of it? And why didn't he call 911 off his phone? Did he not want his phone to be checked or have nothing to do with the scenario at all? That would have been a smart move to make. You know, I can't take that from him. That would have been a very conscious move to make, to say, look, I'm not even going to use it to make a call. I don't want to link it back to me. Let me just use Riva Motorsports' phone. And is this messaging I'm looking at between an alleged girlfriend and possibly someone from allegedly Riva Motorsports? That's where things get a little tricky. That's what I'm trying to understand. So it's not Riva Motorsports itself. It is a individual at the place. And is Riva Motorsports staying quiet because they don't know who it could have been? That would make a lot of sense. That is why I'm taking it one step at a time to understand it. I'm going to further read through some of this information, and I'm going to give you one more. But I'm updating you as I'm learning about this, as I'm getting it, as I'm receiving messages. Shout to Monica, because as I'm looking at it, you know, this was something she said that she had, but she didn't exactly mention it because she didn't know the importance. as we work our way to this pinnacle and point of understanding what may have actually gone on, it seems that she has some crucial evidence on the backside that I've been able to read. And it's shout out to Europe. Shout out to Europe delivering this piece of information. This simple conversation, reading it carefully, I saw no denial from whoever this person is that has nothing to do with the suspect responding, and an individual asking, are they helping, but they don't clarify for what, says back to them, hold on, Victor's at the shop. What does that mean, Victor? What does that mean? What does that mean? And that has nothing to do with the 4 men we seen. What does that mean? And I have a question. Was one of these alleged people involved knocking your girlfriend down? Is that why? Is that would be the reason of your hatred? Was one of these men knocking her down, that they're able to contact her directly? What's going on? And was this allegedly a girlfriend or some woman you know? Because from looking at this and reading this, I can't tell if it's a man or a woman, and I don't know what you do on your backside of your time, so I can't lean towards either section. I'm just giving you the respects to say that you detail a woman what your actions are, and you're not just calling up a guy letting them know your every step and move. Like, I don't know what you're doing on the backside. But where is this going to now? That is why I held off. That is why I stayed quiet, because no matter what's released, the crucial evidence on the backside, minor details, are going to help to actually understand whether or not there's even evidence to place against the people they threw their pictures out. But that's objectivity, and that's us looking at the information without placing blame because someone had fell in his past, let alone because some magazine or newspaper releases family names and things. That is why I told you I wanted to clear the ground for stronger foundation of evidence. That's why I said this. And it seems I was correct to do so. And I stand on my decision to do that. We got more coming. You know how I rock. All rights reserved.